Black Phone is a 2022 horror thriller movie starring Ethan Hawke. The main characters of the movie consist of Gwen, Finney, and Terrence. They make up the family, the Blakes. Gwen is played by Madeline McGraw, Finney is played by Mason Thames, and Terrence is played by Jeremy Davis. And the Grabber, the movie's titular creepy stalker character, is played by the legendary Ethan Hawke. To sum up the movie in its most basic of plots, is we follow a dysfunctional family. More specifically, we follow Finney and Gwen as they attend high school and get bullied by very, very violent bullies and go back home to their equally as violent, if not more so, father who is always drunk and always abusing the kids. His reason for this is explained off that his wife died at some point, probably more recently, as he's recently started to abuse and just do terrible things to his kids. He explains the reason why his wife is no longer part of the picture is that she had magical gifts, and these gifts drove her insane, which caused her to kill herself. And that's why whenever Madeline McGraw's character, Gwen, talks about her powers, which she probably inherited from her mother, it makes Terrence very angry. So basically, Gwen has magical powers which allow her to see visions and to know things that she couldn't possibly have known, which leads to the cops getting involved and asking her a bunch of questions. And when Terrence finds out about this, he gets very angry, getting a belt and whipping the back of his daughter when she gets home from her friend's house the following morning. He explains to her that her powers are not magical, they are not fantastical, and that you are just a regular child. There is nothing special about you, and you are not going to be talking to cops anymore about this. Basically, in his view, he's trying to protect his daughter through any means necessary, but the way they film it in this movie, it's treated as a very, very bad and violent and almost tragic conflict within the house, which leads to when Mason Thames' character actually gets abducted by the Grabber. It leaves it to being like, okay, will him being abducted by the Grabber be a better thing for him, or is it going to be twice as bad? And we end up figuring out that, yeah, it's twice as bad. This guy is literally mind-fucking him every night and every day, and is most likely waiting to break this kid's spirit just to kill him. He gets calls from the spirits of the dead children that the Grabber has previously murdered from a disconnected telephone, and they talk to him and they give him ideas on how he can escape the Grabber. They give him little snippets of information from their past experiences with the Grabber before they inevitably met their dark fate. Now, talking about the Grabber himself, the Grabber is a fearsome creature. I'm not going to say that he's a man, because technically he's not. He kills innocent children for his own entertainment. But this creature, every time it's on screen, it has a presence that makes you feel the way Finney does whenever the Grabber is in the room that Finney is locked in. Every time this man enters a room, you just feel this tension, this primal fear, and Ethan Hawke does such a great job of selling that to you with his well-written character and his great and superb acting. Now, a very interesting thing about Terrence in the movie is Terrence has a very different mannerism when Finney is not around. And after Finney gets taken by the Grabber, he appears very somber. He's even more a mess than he was when he had both of his kids. So, knowing that she could have the powers to bring Finney back to the house and to save him with her visions and everything, she brings this up with Terrence, and she knows that Terrence could get upset, but she talks to him and she says, you know, what if my powers could bring Finney back? What if we could track Finney down using my visions? And, well, at first, Terrence is not up for that. He's very upset, and you can see it in his eyes, however, he's not showing it visually. He says, "Why not?" And this leads to a very somber moment where Terrence and Gwen are actually driving around the neighborhood looking for Finney, which is very heartbreaking. Now, unfortunately, at this point in the movie, Terrence and Gwen do not find Finney, and Finney, during all of this, is getting calls from the spirits of the grabber's victims, and this is where he finally is able to escape. After luring the grabber into the basement, he uses a phone that he's packed full of dirt and made it into a weapon. He traps him in this kind of trapdoor that he's made by digging a hole in the ground and then covering it with a blanket. The grabber gets trapped in there, and he just starts wailing on him with this phone that he's packed full of dirt, and the grabber dies. And he runs back outside. He finds his family, and they live happily ever after. After they're in the ambulance getting worked on, Terrence comes over and he cries. He's brought down to his knees, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." And it's in this moment that you can tell that Terrence is being legit. He is saying, through just one word, things will be different. I'm sorry, I promise you, things are going to be different from now on. And we have a happy ending. The grabber is defeated, and this town that's being plagued by this creepy serial killer stalker is finally at peace again. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed my look into the Black Phone. This is definitely a really good movie, and it's one of those movies that keeps you on your seat. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a horror movie, per se, but more of a thriller. But man, do I have to say, it's a well-written thriller. With that being said, once again, hope you guys enjoyed my video. Do take care, and have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one.